Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new and this is your first time here, then please check out my other videos if you're interested in all things hairdressing, whether it's tips, tutorials, advice, you're a hairdresser yourself and you want some tips on the business and the trade, then subscribe to me, give me a thumbs up and some comments. And if you've been here before and you're already subscribed, then it's great to see you. So today's video, I wanted to be an information video on my life as a mobile hairdresser and things I've learned along the way. So this video is about the things that you should know and you should be doing as a mobile hairdresser, but nobody tells you. So let's get into it. So tip number one, confirm all your appointments with the clients the day or the night before you go to them. The last thing you want to be doing is turning up to somebody's house and they're not there, they've forgotten, they've gone out shopping, or they're not dressed yet, they're in the bath, the shower, whatever. So you really need to just double check that they know when their appointment is, that they're happy for you to go and you know the timing, then everything's square, no accidents can happen, you're not going to lose appointment time, you're not going to be stood on someone's doorstep ringing the doorbell, because it has happened to me before. And everyone is clear with what's happening. Also, make sure you know the address of where you're going. It can happen where we're booking people in, we're having the conversations, and then it's getting to the appointment and you're thinking, did I take the address? And you're scrolling through your phone, trying to find the conversation that you had, or finding their number to text them and say, can I have your address, please? So make sure the day before, when you go through your appointments for the next day, that you've got their address. And also, if it's somewhere that you've never been before and you don't know where you're going, make sure you have a check, see where that is, see what the parking's like, because there is a lot of places, you know, if it's a kind of a terraced house or something, the parking could be on the road and they're very busy streets. So you could end up having to park a few streets away. You're having to haul your stuff all the way through the streets because you've had to park so far away. So really plan all your appointment before the next day, know where you're going to park, and double check the service that they're having. Some clients can change their mind, which is fine, last minute. They decide they don't want their hair coloured anymore, or they want to add an extra thing on. The last thing you wanted to be doing is, if you've had to park a little way away, walking through the streets with heavy bags and boxes full of all your kit, and you get there and they say, oh, I didn't want my hair coloured today now, and you've kind of allowed that time, as well as carried all that stuff in when you didn't really need to. So really confirm all appointments the day or the night before. Make sure everyone knows where they stand, what you're doing and where you go. So tip number two, always take your lunch with you and plenty of water. It gets thirsty on the road, especially when you're in people's houses. If you don't want to drink, you know what it's like with the hairdryer going, you're talking continuously, you get that dry mouth thing. So as long as you've always got water in the car, you're always going to have a drink. So take a few bottles and your lunch. Do your pack up that morning or the night before and take it with you, because sometimes if you're starving, you don't have time to go to a shop. And I don't know about you, but I get hangry. If I'm hungry, I am not a nice person. So just to have that pack up in the car will help you. You know, you can pull over to a quick car park somewhere and eat your lunch. Or I have been known to, when I'm taking all my stuff out my boot and packing it to take into somebody's houses, I'm kind of ramming a sandwich down my neck then. So it's really good. Make sure you have your food with you, and then you always get to eat, because we need to stay healthy. We need to keep our energy up. And when we're not starving, we are happier, nicer people all round. Also, if you're anything like me, in my house, I've got 2 kids and a boyfriend, and it's pick the kids up from school, get home, and then he comes in for work. And then there's the whole, I've got to cook dinner yet. So if you've got a long, busy day, get your slow cooker out that morning, plan your evening meal, get it all ready. You know, my slow cooker is going pretty much a few times a week, and there's meals in there ready. So when we come in from work, school, wherever we've been, there's always a meal waiting. And don't make it too hard a meal that you don't know that you're going to take hours to prepare, because you'll have all the best intentions to do it and then you'll get in knackered from work and you think, I can't be bothered now, I just want something simple. So plan your evening meal for yourself, your family and everyone, and it just makes the whole day that bit smoother. So food and water is definitely a top tip. So tip number 3, check you've got everything before you leave the house. Now, one of my major things that I've found, I have done it a few times, is I've cut my son's or my daughter's hair the night before. So all my scissors and all my kit was in the house. And then in the morning, I've got them in the car, took them to school, go to my first appointment, and it's like, where is my kit? And then I remembered they're on the side at home where I've done the haircuts last night. So then you have to phone the client, panic, I'm sorry, I've done this. It puts your whole day behind to go home and get those scissors, the brush, whatever it is you've left there. So really make sure you check before you leave your house in the morning that you're everything. Put post-it notes on your steering wheel if you have to. I mean, what I try to do is as soon as I've used my kit, put it back in the car so I know it's there. Doesn't always happen like that, but try and make that note or an alarm on your phone that goes off just before you know you're about to leave the house, saying, have I got everything I need today? Because it does put you so behind. And not only that, it's not as professional. People get it because it's normal, it's life, it's family. But we don't want to be making mistakes like that, like I have before. Okay, so make sure you check you have everything you need. So number 4, listen to something motivational and positive when you're in the car. So I know we need to kind of keep up with current affairs and the news and what's going on in the world so we can have that conversation with people, and if people want to talk to us about anything, we need to understand. But I would say keep that brief. The news is so full of doom and gloom and horribleness that when we're driving around and listening to this stuff, it can kind of put you in a bit of a negative mindset and, and start to get you off thinking about these horrible situations. So check your news in the morning when you're having your cup of tea and everything like that, and that will keep you going through the day. But what I listen to in my car is podcasts, or Audible is great because you download books. You get 1 free credit a month, which gives you 1 book a month. And I think it's about £8 a month subscription to that, and it's brilliant. So I tend to not ever buy a book. I will just use my credit. So really it's costing me that £8 for Audible. But I listen to that book, and I listen to motivational books and books that I'm interested in, and it's really, really good. And I tend to, that's the thing that I'll probably talk about when I'm with my client with the appointment, rather than the horrible stuff that's going on in the news. You start talking about, oh, I'm just listening to this book in the car and it's fascinating, and then you can start the conversation on that, something a bit more interesting that you can relate to. And podcasts, people being interviewed, people that you're interested in. So it's really, really good time to get your mind, your brain working, give us that fuel for our brains while we're driving along, and getting our brain working, getting us thinking and our imagination going. So definitely listening to podcasts and Audible is brilliant. Tip number 5, when you arrive at the client's house, if it's a new house that you've never been to, check your surroundings. You're going to need to make sure that the room that you're working in is well lit, well ventilated, and you have lots of room to move around. The last thing you want to be doing is crammed in the spare room, surrounded by boxes where you can't move, you can't get your arms up, you can't step round. You need to be able to bend and manoeuvre properly to protect your back and in your knees and all of that. You want to be able to reach for your colour bowl and everything that you need. If they want a blow dry, you need the room to be able to move. So make sure that you have lots of room in that room, and then make sure, like I say, well lit. Good lighting is everything. Warm lighting will affect your colours and how they look and how they're seen. So you need a white lit bright room. By a window, maybe by some patio doors, anything like that that's bright and well lit is a perfect room. Bathrooms are always good rooms as long as they're big enough, because the lighting is pretty much always white in a bathroom. So they're really, really good lit rooms. Also, check where you'll be doing the hair washing and make sure the client knows that they're probably going to be leaning forward. I personally don't have, you can buy a thing that you can lean back and attach. I don't have that. It was just more another thing that I had to carry around and add into my kit. But all of my clients are happy with bending forward, or they can wash it themselves if they feel they want to. So make sure they know that before you arrive. And make sure you have a look at where you're going to be washing hair. Make sure it's adequate, make sure you can do the job and give them the service that they deserve. So as soon as you get there, you're checking where you're washing. Rooms are well lit, well ventilated, so you can breathe, especially right now when we're in masks and visors. We get so hot, so we need good aired room and lots of light, good lighting. So tip number 6, make sure you're always paid before you leave. Now, it's a horrible thing talking about money. It took me a long time to feel comfortable with the money bit. So the price you charge is the price you stick at. You know, you don't get bartered. You're not a market stall. Your price is your worth, so stick to it and make sure that you are paid before you leave. You will get clients that will say, oh, can I pay you later? I'll just set up the online banking, which is fine as long as you're prepared to chase that up. And, you know, it's awkward because you don't want to have to say, well, I'll stand here and do it and feel uncomfortable. And that's the last thing you want for yourself and for them, and to make them feel like you don't trust them. But at the same time, you wouldn't go and do your weekly shop in Tesco's and then walk out and just say, I'm going to pay later, I'm going to set it up. So you kind of have to think the same things. You are selling your service and you need to be paid for it. So to avoid the embarrassment, you know, just make sure, you know, oh, I can just stay, and make sure you check it up now so all my details are correct to save any hassle later. Things like that. Tell them the ways you'll accept payments, or even in your confirmation text the day before, say, how will you be paying? Do you need to set up my details for online banking? Because it just cuts out that awkward conversation, and you don't want to be chasing money. I've had to do it before where I'm chasing money and you're having to say, did you get my bank details correct, because the money's not gone in, and it's not very nice. I feel like it puts an awkward thing on the whole situation. So make sure that you are paid before you leave. And number 7, finally, is make sure you make the next appointment before you leave. And also make sure you take that appointment booking with you, because one of the big things I do is we'll say, right, can we make your next appointment before you leave? Because then they'll forget about it, and 5 weeks later they'll think, oh, I need my hair done and I didn't book in. Can you book me in for next week? And it's like, no, I can't do it. So that way, if you book them in before you leave, they've got their guaranteed appointment when they want it and the time. It can be, 6, 7, 8 weeks later. It's already done. It's already sorted. You don't have to tell them no. And also it means kind of they're coming back to you. So it's good for business as well. But there's times where I don't carry my appointment book into the client's house with me because I've left it on my passenger seat, or in my glove box, and where I've been looking, right, doing this next, or where I've been parked up and booking people in, catching up on my phone calls and texts, and then gone to my boot, gone into the house, and obviously left my appointment book there. So I've just gone into my phone and gone, right, I'll book you in here and I'll transfer it into my appointment book later. Obviously gone to transfer it in, the appointment's gone. So, and then you have to do the embarrassing thing of, I'm really, really sorry, I've double booked myself. It's not really professional. It can make some people a little bit unhappy because they wanted that appointment, but it's already gone. So it just avoids that whole thing. So make sure you take your appointment book into the house with you. So when you make the next appointment before you leave, you're all ready. There's not going to be any mistakes made later, and everything is clear and everyone is happy. So I hope those tips helped you today. Really, really, they are so important because these are things that I go through every day. And if I'd have known this at the start, it would have helped me massively. So I hope I've helped you today. Give me a like, leave me a comment, let me know what stage you're at in your career, or if you need any help or advice or guidance, then please reach out to me, message me. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. And it's great. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.